Welcome to another episode, everyone. Indian Red Boy, an Inglewood blood member, was brutally killed on Instagram Live. His friend had defaced Nipsey Hussle's mural, and individuals were hot on his trail and upset about this. Ironically enough, while Indian Red Boy was on Instagram Live with said Capone, the same individual who had defaced Nipsey Hussle's mural, some individuals walked up and opened fire while he was sitting there in the car on the side of his home in the parking lot. And it was all caught on tape. This went viral. I'm sure many of you will remember this. This was drastic and absolutely diabolical. Let's get into it. This is Hood War Stories.
In this episode, I'll be discussing the details surrounding the demise of Indian Red Boy. Zarel Rivera was born February 14th in the year 2001. He was primarily raised by his mother, who was a blood herself. She kept her kids flamed up, so it was almost destined for Zarel to become a blood later down the line. He grew up in Long Beach and was known as a bad kid that would get into mischief. Besides the troublemaking, he was into video games, music, and collecting shoes. He played basketball at Jordan High in North Long Beach, and at that point wasn't heavily involved in the gang world. Shortly after high school, he started going to the studio hoping someone would give him a shot. As soon as he started making headway, he would lose his mother. From then on, he had to help his younger siblings a lot more. The loss of his mother left a hole in him, and he was never the same after that. He turned to the streets for comfort, where he found the sense of family he had been searching for. He joined the Hollywood Pyrus and started banging it to the fullest. The Hollywood Pyrus are a small set located on the east side of Compton. They are one of the least liked sets amongst other blood gangs and have a reputation of backdooring their own members. Zarel was with them for a brief period and was banging the set hard during his tenure. As time went on, problems began to surface. Zarel claimed members from his own set were against him, leaving him unsure who to trust. He eventually left Hollywood and made the move to the Centinela Park families in Inglewood. The transition was seamless, considering he was already tied with Capone from families. Capone was an established member from families. He was young, active, and quickly climbing the ranks. Although hood hopping is common, it's still generally looked down upon. Nonetheless, Zarel left Hollywood on his own terms. He was Indian Red Boy now. When Hollywood members or rival Crips would give him flack, Capone would quickly come to his defense.
I was, but on Blood Gang, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. Blood, don't even explain yourself to them niggas, Blood. He's from F Street now, Blood. Yeah, homies, nigga. It don't matter. Say, he ain't do nothing yeenus on Blood. He ain't do nothing yeenus on Blood, so it don't matter. IFG. It don't even matter, Blood on his set. You gotta explain yourself. Niggas ain't finna worry about the same niggas that still turning down fades to this day. IFG. Grown niggas, what I keep telling niggas come get a face. What, not worried about them niggas.
The families embraced Indian Red Boy, and it was evident this new chapter was a better fit for him.
Is this that little nigga from CPF named, what they call you, cuz? What they call you, cuz? What they call you, cuz? What they call you, cuz?
Okay.
He remained present and ready to handle whatever was asked of him, earning his stripes and respect from fellow gang members.
I damn so blood gang. Well, we outside on blood.
In May of 2021, Indian Red Boy's good friend and fellow gang member Capone went viral for defacing Nipsey's mural in the 60s.
Top of the top. Wake up this morning to this bullshit. This how niggas really feel. Y'all want to disrespect the dead. That's how y'all really feel, huh?
Wow. Yeah, and that's deep right there, right? So defaced Nipsey Hussle's mural, as I said. You can see there, it says IFGB with the G crossed out. That's Inglewood Family Gangster Bloods. It says Capone number 3 right there. So he left his name, put Capone right there, number 3. And right before that, you can see where it says, like, you know, disrespecting the neighborhoods and all that, says NK or something. Right there. Big old 60K NK right there. So Capone, apparently from Inglewood family, I don't know. I don't want to put that on him, but it says IFGB right there. Whoever he is, wherever he's from, he left that right there, crossed out Nipsey Hussle's face, blocked it up in red paint, as you can see. And as you can imagine, individuals were raving mad. Nipsey Hussle's friends, family, homeboys, Nipsey Hussle's fans. You don't know who was all upset over something like this. This individual was dead, brutally murdered in broad daylight, and you come over here to basically their hood and do this and throw up gang signs and take pictures of you doing it and left your name and everything else. You putting people and yourself in some very dangerous situations. Don't know if that's why Indian Red Boy ended up losing his life or not. There are different theories, but I'm going to assume that this could not have helped. Even though he didn't do it, it was his best friend or whatever. He was with him all the time and so forth. Oh, man, not a good situation.
Capone, huh? Capone. Yeah. Wall banging Capone, okay. Yeah. Baby Capone, that's what your name is, cuz? Baby Capone. That's how y'all doing it. Y'all come over wall banging, cuz, crossing out the dead homie, cuz. Come on. Hood, bro. So y'all need to go find y'all homie Capone, cuz. That's some weirdo, bro. Come on, cuz.
Capone received significant backlash, both from his immediate rivals and more prominently from fans of Nipsey. But instead of backtracking, Capone stood on what he did and basically told anyone to come get it.
Blood, I'm not tripping. You know me, blood. You know I'm dangerous. Oh, kills. You know I'm dangerous. Hey, Red Demon over there.
It was evident that he relished the spotlight. With these new eyes on him, many of the public got their first look at Indian Red Boy, who made several appearances in Capone's stories and lives. Fast forward a month and a half later, on July 8, 2021, Indian Red Boy was on Instagram Live with Capone, seated in his car in the rear parking area of his apartment building. Eerily, they were discussing being caught off guard, with Indian Red Boy asking Capone what he would do if enemies boxed him in without a gun.
Like, you ain't got nothing on you right now. What would you do, fool?
They laughed it off. Then his eyes looked up and he saw death staring him right in the face. It was at that moment when a black male rushed up to the driver's side window and unloaded a barrage of bullets. Indian Red Boy was hit multiple times and died in the driver's seat on Instagram Live. The live clip went viral, and viewers were shocked at how cold and brazen the murder was. When police arrived, they found Red Boy's car window riddled with bullet holes. They also found a gun on his lap. When news of the murder circulated, there was a flurry of theories as to why it happened. The main theory was that it was revenge for the defacing of Nipsey's mural. The second theory was that his old set Hollywood was behind the murder, and that a girl had set him up. There was some OGs from Hollywood he had friction with, which led to his departure from that set. Despite growing chatter, they swiftly denied any involvement in Indian Red Boy's murder. The idea that he may have been set up was still a strong possibility. Given that he was parked in a restricted area away from the street, it indicated that access may have required someone to open the gate for the gunman. There was tons of speculation, but one thing was for certain. Whoever the shooter was, it wasn't his first time killing. After his death, individuals from various hoods across the city made light of his passing.
Hey, what'd he say? Yeah, that's that Hawthorne pack. You know we sending you niggas. He did what he did. What'd he say? Hey, what'd he say? Y'all body box, damn. He said, blood, where you at? Where you at, blood? Where you at, blood? Hold on.
Days after Red Boy.
Wow. And we've seen this time and time again. Individuals die in the most brutal fashion, and their so-called ops are celebrating on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and the like, and going to their grave and desecrating their grave and etc. And clearly these individuals are happy. What they're doing is mocking how he died. Clearly the clip was not played here, and for good reason, because the clip, I have seen it. It's around on Instagram and all this. You can go look it up, Indian Red Boy. Viewer discretion would be advised. It's very brutal and diabolical. It's, you see him being deleted live on Instagram. And ironically, as we know, as we just seen, he's sitting there talking to the individual who's really a target, not to say that he was the target of this, but he's a target of individuals for having desecrated Nipsey Hussle's, mural. And he happened to be on the phone with this individual, but he was live. So did the individuals who walked up and deleted him, or the individual, know where he was at? Well, clearly he knew where he was at, but did he get his location from the fact that he was live? Did he say, I'm right here at the house and this and that? And so when whomever walks up and shoots him and deletes him, Indian Red Boy, Capone is on the phone on the Instagram Live, the individual who he's talking to there on Instagram Live when this shooting happens, when his unaliving happens in real time. And the individual who, of course, defaced Nipsey Hussle's mural, Capone, he's on the phone with him. And when they shoot him up, or whomever, one individual, whomever it was, multiple individuals shoot Indian Red Boy up, ultimately killing him. But when they're shooting him up, Capone is asking, man, he's saying, man, what is it? What's going on? Like, he sees what's going on. They right there on the line. He's asking Indian Red Boy, where you at? Where you at? As if he gonna better go over there and save him right now. It's too late. He already been shot up. He's asking, where you at? Where you at? And he was saying, Hawthorne, Hawthorne. He was in Hawthorne, apparently at his house, in the back of his house, in the parking lot or whatever, parked back there, just on the phone, Instagram Live, chilling in his car, probably smoking, whatever. And so, dude, where you at? He said, I'm in Hawthorne. But his hands and all that had curled up. He shot up. He was leaking. He shot up. He had like stiffed up and all this, but he was still able to talk a little bit. And he's saying that he was in Hawthorne. So that's what these dudes, just to clarify, were making fun of. Hawthorne, because that's what he was saying as he was dying. Whew, wow. Cold situation we got going on here. Cold culture we have. Very diabolical, destructive, genocidal culture. Not only do we delete one another in the most violent and vicious of ways, but then we'll make light of it, make fun of it, make fun of someone dying in that way. I don't know what happened. Maybe you all can leave a comment and let me know what you think, at least to this point, as to, what was the cause of his death. Was it, as the narrator indicated, perhaps some conflict that he had with his former gang, Hollywood? Or was it because his friend, good friend, best friend, who he had made multiple appearances with, multiple videos with, and was sitting there on live with, where individuals can see this, and they're after his friend for what he did? They said, okay, well, we'll get you instead. I don't know what happened here. Let me know what you think in the comments. What we do know is that the young man, unfortunately, lost his life. Rest in peace to Indian Red Boy, Inglewood.
Boy's passing. The game dropped a few bars on Instagram Live, which many felt to be directed at Indian Red Boy.
All white Air Force Ones, niggas coming through the hood with them Air Force guns. We got more Drakes than the Billboard. Disrespecting niggas get killed for. We not gonna stand for the disrespect. Get this 45 barrel pressed against your neck.
He received immediate backlash from the Inglewood families, who took offense to it. The next day, the game made an effort to set the record straight, hoping to de-escalate the matter.
Situation that was brought to my attention this morning by a gang of homies. In my DMs, is upset, feel away. I get it. Understand I mean no disrespect, meant no disrespect to no Pyrus, no Bloods, no LA, no gangbangers, period. But speaking on the Indian Red Boy situation, number one, RIP to the homie. Love to his whole family, his immediate family, his close homies, the whole Inglewood family blood card, and it's all the Pyrus, down moves across the world, period. If anybody felt a certain way or felt disrespected by, you know, what I said, number one, I've been wrote them bars, been in my phone since like May or April. And, you know, yesterday I decided to put them, you know, put this out, on the live, bad timing on my behalf. I feel, you know, they feel, you know, like I disrespected somebody, but it's really just bad timing. So on me, I'm gonna get with the homies, the big homies, some of the little homies, and I'm gonna get with Blood family and help bury Blood, you know, throw some chips his way for the funeral and all that. But really, you know, the big homies and my age and all the OGs know what it is with me. Know that I'm from Westside, Cedar Block, Bompton, Piru. I stand on that. I've been a solid my whole career. I done been at it with my own homies. I done been at it with Crips. It's LA. That's how it goes. The gang culture. You know, a should know not to speak on certain shit. No matter what it is, whether it was relative to this situation or not. But I did. And so, you know, I got to stand on that and I got to rectify the situation, make sure right with all the little homies out there, because I know out there dying in these streets. I've been shot. I got dead homies. I know what it is, man. I got family that's dead, and I just know how this LA gang. I know how to go anyway, homie. So it's young. It's for the young. I'm talking to y'all. I know y'all niggas out there doing y'all active, and you know, again, I mean no disrespect to the young homies, the YG homies, the OG homies already know what it is. I done talked to a few of them this morning. Just know what it is, and you know, it's you know, it's just a simple mistake, but you know, you got to be a man to stand on that, rectify the situation. And I'm going to do that. I talked to Manchester from Inglewood family. I talked to the homie Big Y. I talked to Whack 100 this morning, and I'm gonna reach out to a few more of the OG homies, and some of the little homies, and just, you know, do whatever I got to do to make this right. I wasn't speaking on that situation directly. I ain't say Blood name. I ain't say no names. I ain't say no gangs, no nothing about that. But I understand the sensitivity and the timing, but like I said, I wrote that shit months ago, had that shit in my phone. When I wrote that shit, Blood was still alive, so it ain't got nothing to do with him, but I get it, so I'm gonna rectify the shit. Like I said, I'm gonna get with Blood family and help bury Blood, and after that, I'm gonna be done with it again. All the little homies out there, man, no disrespect. The big homies, no disrespect. Nobody in the whole Blood card, nigga, no gangsters, no LA gangsters, period. I know how they go, and I ain't disrespecting nobody out here. No Crips, no Bloods, no SAs, not even no non-affiliated, hard-working out here, man. It's LA, and I know what they do. All right.
The game decided to reach in his pockets.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure he did decide to reach in his pockets because, I mean, I don't know. He said he wrote the lyrics months before, and of course, for those who may not have heard what he said in those lyrics, the game, you know, not long after Indian Red Boy was deleted, he said that, you know, you disrespect Nipsey Hussle and you get shot, get one to your neck, and, you know, all this, come through with Dracos and etc. After this had just happened. He said he wrote these lyrics before, but it seemed like he was pointing a finger at Indian Red Boy, even though, again, he is not the one who disrespected Nipsey Hussle, you know, that I know of. I mean, unless he said something on the internet, Instagram, and all, but as far as the desecration of his mural, we know who that was. He left his name, went on the internet and said he's not tripping, showed off his weapon. I ain't tripping. I'm dangerous. I stay dangerous and all that. So he wasn't hiding the fact of who he was, the individual who actually did it. But this is his friend. He was constantly with him, constantly communicating with him, constantly seen with him, and so much so that even the moment that he's dying, he's on the phone with him. I don't know, man. It's tricky, but the game, yeah, they were on his head about those lyrics. You know, they felt like it was insensitive, to say the least, with another Blood member being killed for disrespecting perhaps a Crip, and you sitting here making music about it, and like you condone it. As he said, he had to tap in with the big homies and all of that, try to rectify that situation, which apparently he eventually did. But everyone needs grace. None of us are perfect.
Provide a $5,000 donation, helping raise Red Boy's GoFundMe to hit that 10K mark. In the meanwhile, the Inglewood families were going haywire following Red Boy's death. Shootings in the 60s were constant during the month of July, but in reality, the 60s had nothing to do with it. but the families, unsure of who it was, chose to go at their immediate enemies. Months later, in October of 2021, arrests were made in connection to Indian Red Boy's murder. 2 members of the neighborhood 50s, one from 5'7" and one from 5'5", were taken in and charged with first-degree murder. Initially, it was just those 2 on this murder case, until they chose to cooperate and tell detectives everything that transpired, revealing who the actual trigger man was. Cab 5 is from the hundreds, specifically from UG Block's main clique on 105th. This hood is composed with tons of shooters, and Capone is one of their many young gunners. But unlike many other gang members in his age demographic, he doesn't crave social media shine. He has kept a very low profile, barely showing his face on the internet. He didn't want or need the extra attention. Very quiet, deadly type. He's alleged to have scored major points before turning the age of 18. As a troubled youth in a broken household, he was frequently in and out the halls, doing stints at Camp Kilpatrick. At 18, he was charged with evading police, carrying a concealed weapon in a vehicle, and unlawful firearm activity. He would end up bailing out in March of 2021, 4 months before he would kill Indian Red Boy. According to statements from 2 of the neighborhood 50 members, one of them lived in the same complex as Indian Red Boy. About a week earlier, the 2 had a hostile encounter at a local convenience store where words were exchanged. Indian Red Boy didn't know, but he was being watched. The member from 50s would give Capone the drop and additional intel regarding Red Boy's whereabouts. In the statement, the 50s would essentially distance themselves from the murder, putting most of the blame on Capone. For their cooperation in court testimonies, the 50 members would get their murder charges dismissed and reduced to assaulting a person with a semi-automatic firearm. They were both sentenced to 6 years in state prison. In November of 2024, Capone would be found guilty of first-degree murder and possession of a firearm. While he was awaiting sentencing, Capone would catch additional charges for his participation in a riot that occurred in the county jail. Those charges included battery by gassing a CO, using force or violence in a county jail, and carrying a dagger. Those new charges would eventually get dismissed, and Capone was ultimately sentenced to 29 years to life. Shortly after being sentenced, he'd catch a new charge for possession of a weapon, but end up getting it dismissed for lack of a speedy trial. Indian Red Boy had potential, but ended up falling victim to the streets. The families are still honoring his life until this day. I'd like to thank you guys for watching.
Wow. Whoa. That's cold. So, okay, well, there you have it. Apparently, it was not over the defacing of the mural, unless you all seem or tend to think different. Apparently, it was over some dispute inside of a store or so a week or so prior to his death that he had with someone, as we just heard, and then they told this other individual where he was at, gave him the drop on him, he came through and deleted him. And again, it is on Instagram. You can go watch it. I wouldn't advise it. I'm not advising you to go watch it. It is very graphic, the video. But rest in peace to that young man, to Indian Red Boy. So, again, I was wondering, they have all these conspiracy theories often when there's a murder, even here. They didn't know if it was the Hollywood individuals that did it. They didn't know if it was because of the Nipsey Hussle situation. Now we're finding out at least towards the end, or at the end, that it looks like it was over something else, because these dudes started snitching. They started talking, which they always do, which individuals always do when they get caught up. They started snitching. So once they started snitching, now we find out, allegedly at least, that it was over a personal dispute, a conflict that Indian Red Boy had with someone else right there in that neighborhood at the store, corner store, a week or so prior. Nothing to do with anything else. Just, either way, the man lost his life in the most brutal of fashions. And that's what the street and gang culture ultimately ends in. Destruction and bloodshed. Get out of it. Stay safe and stay free, people.